wherever you are. We are the Toolbox podcast this week on the 13th of October.
Start again. Oh my God.
Let's just keep this. That's not professional.
Just keep.
Well,
We're
part
not
of this
professional,
is
just
fine.
keep
We're
it
not
that way.
professionals. This week we're gonna read out your PlayStation memories.
I don't even
thank
know what
you.
day it is.
It's Friday, right?
What year is it? Well, no, Marty is meant to be coming back this week.
Oh.
We're coming forward this week, so. Boom, boom.
I have no idea what's
Gonna
going
play it
on.
off as if I meant to do that whole forgetting what day it is. Shh, don't sip your drink and stare at me like that. Okay, yeah, we're gonna read out your PlayStation memories this week as well as have a look at some various topics. We've got a nice range of stuff to talk about this week. We are missing a member. Rest in
What?
peace, Jess. She's in Benidorm.
Lol.
You
Say that. I don't know. I got nothing
have
else.
no sympathy.
Our rum is way better than yours. But
True
Cheers.
story.
that was the sound of a glass hitting a bottle of water.
Use that for photo.
Without further ado, we'll go straight to the PlayStation stories. Thank you for the 4 or 5 of you. We were expecting 1, so this is a much better outcome than we
Yeah,
ever expected.
I'm amazed.
We'll start with our favourite listener, Darian.
Oh, Darian.
One true bay.
The one true day to rule.
So Darian has said the first PlayStation memory was beating my dad's ass on Tekken when I just came into the country. My most memorable would, of course, being when I bought Tomb Raider 3 on the PlayStation 1. Mike is giving all sorts of thumbs up over here. Returning it the following week because the game was too spooky for me. Favourite games was really a chick with great breasts and guns hold still on either
It
thigh.
was quite a spooky game though.
Yeah, it was.
See, I never
The
played
dogs
any of the
that chase you are
originals.
See, you didn't play it, so you
No,
don't know
no.
how horrors
So
are.
don't
True.
take the mick out of Darian.
True,
for
I'm
being
sorry,
spooky.
I'm sorry,
I will,
too
because
spooky.
I
There's
will.
legit reason for a
I was
refund.
gonna say, I
Is it
will,
too
because
booby for him or too spooky?
Too booby for me.
Favourite games would be a split between Jack and Daxter,
Yep.
Mike's favourites, and Sly Cooper.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So, thanks Darian, that was
Sly
good.
Cooper.
Sly Cooper, I don't think I've heard of Sly Cooper to be honest. And we have another top
Change
game.
that.
2 top games from Sean is Croc, The Legend of Gobus,
Hell yeah.
and Okami,
Oh.
which is a nice little classic in there. We also have a couple more whilst I get them up. Okay, so Laura has put, my first PlayStation memory was when I was 5 years old, sitting in the living room playing Crash Team Racing for hours on end. And now with games like Until Dawn, The Last of Us, and Uncharted, of course, Michael, it's amazing to see how far PlayStation brand and video games in general have progressed over the past 20 years. True statement.
Yes, it is crazy as a reflection.
Yeah, thinking about the industry started around I think the first one, sorry, not the first console, but the first sort of technology going towards the gaming industry was about 1951. Talking about
Yeah, I guess.
the old, it wasn't NASA, it was in the UK, wasn't it? It was technology firms. I'm trying to remember the correct terminology, but either way, yeah, it's been a
We're
good.
just gonna watch you burn.
Yeah, don't input, don't help, guys. Just let me
Eyes are
fall.
Staring, pleading for information.
Yes, please input at any time.
Feed us the information.
Okay, 2 more. Alfie has put, I don't know if this is what you're looking for. We'll find out. But I recall trying to remember which of my billion memory cards had and what games were on it. We were just talking about this. This is what we were talking about. I usually gave up at the red one and just played Cell Damage Overdrive again.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And it'd be hard to, find old save files. So when you were going through and being like, right, okay, I've got way too, in my instance, I've got way too many Kingdom Hearts save files, but I want to clear up memory space. So you go through, you'd look at your memory card and you'd be like, well, which one is my recent playthrough and which one is the 6 times that I have previously gone, I'm going to start again.
It had all the dates and minutes.
It did. Do you think I remember?
Not really.
No. Do you think I remember what
The worst thing
days?
is that they didn't have it named. It was just
Yeah, there was no naming.
It was like game name, date, time. It was like it needs like profile name or something. I think 1 or 2 games did have a profile name.
Maybe.
And then it would just turn into a cube and a question mark.
Yeah. And no.
Or just like those cubes just circling around, especially on my PlayStation 2, was like those cubes circling around and no option would come up. You're like, what's happened? What's happened? What's happened?
I was too young. I used to get really confused, and then my dad would be like, "It's poorly now," and I'm like, "Oh,
that's so cute though. That's
Harry
terrible.
Potter. Where's Harry gone? Is he poorly now?"
You're dead, Harry.
Oh my god!
I was playing Philosopher's Stone.
Who's
Just
left?
watching him climb the ladder and watching him wiggle his butt.
Yep.
Are you sure that wasn't Metal Gear Solid 3?
No,
That's a weird kind of
The thing
Hogwarts.
is that every time Harry climbed the ladder in that game, he would wiggle his butt back and forth.
Oh,
and
man.
he would look so sassy.
Sasspar.
Sass Potter.
Sass butts. Anyway.
Anyway,
Harry
last
Sasser.
one from Tom. As far as I can remember, the original PS1 was the first video game console I ever had. And if I remember correctly, the first video game series I had or got into was Spyro the Dragon. That's my favourite. Making Spyro one of my favourite video games ever. On the PlayStation 1, I still remember playing games like Crash Bandicoot, Rayman, Croc, and Action Man. I've been with the PlayStation brand ever since.
Yeah.
I think it did sort of define once you had that in your childhood. I mean, that was my first console because we weren't console heavy in our house. So having that as your first console was definitely like that's branded me for the rest.
Yeah.
You know,
I did
Sony,
go-
PlayStation.
Yeah. It's PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2,
Yeah.
then obviously some people stayed loyal to PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I was a dirty
I
hoe
moved-
and went to 360.
Yeah, I was a scrub and went to 360.
Yeah, but
Casual.
Bioshock, come on.
Yeah, to be
Sure.
fair,
I
360
think I've
was
seen it when I
good.
started playing it.
There's a lot of good
360 is
ones.
better than Xbone in terms of
Oh yeah.
back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think on 360, only two games that are coming to mind now are Gears of War as well. That was
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
think
a
Gears
great
of War
one.
was a new release.
Gears was just good altogether.
And plus, the only reason I went to Xbox 360 is because I was the party chat.
Gold was great. Like, it was just a massive community.
Yeah, like if PS3 had party chat, PS3 all the way, but
Yeah.
I was a social person on that, like way back when.
I mean, that's the thing, like, I never really owned my own console. I mean, still to this day, it was all hand-me-downs from what my brother would
Oh,
play.
absolutely, yeah.
Which I think is why I wasn't that big of a gamer, was because I wasn't allowed to be, because my brother was always playing. Not that I'm salty about that, you know, I had other things to do. I had, like, butterflies to chase and random shit to do.
You know,
I had time splitters.
moths to collect.
But when I was in my secondary school years, I had a friend called Natasha, and we would play on her Xbox in her room all the time, and it was amazing, and that's where my gaming came from, really. I mean, I know yours came from Kingdom Hearts and cosplaying anime, and I sort of tagged along with that, but
Yeah, my dad's
My own
was a
gaming.
huge gamer.
Them days.
my
still
own
is.
gaming came from that, and buying games on PC.
Ew.
But I do
Yeah.
have many memories from PlayStation.
Yes, I remember going around yours to play Kingdom Hearts 2 once, and your dad was like, I've had enough of this now. And we were on the
TV
last
back.
box.
Yeah.
Box?
Last
boss.
Yeah,
And he just went over and turned it off, and I just sort of sat there like, okay then.
exactly. That's
Okay.
why I wasn't much of a gamer. But when Dad wants the news on, Dad wants the news
Yeah.
on.
There's no pause and change the channel, like the input. It was, no.
To be fair, he did watch us attempt that boss at least 5-6 times.
It is a long boss. The end boss is Square Enix is true to its last boss sort of
Yeah.
trope. Is we're gonna do like
like a
5 versions of this boss, and you have to kill each version with no save in between,
Yeah.
only checkpoint. So if
Yeah.
you want to leave,
They definitely do have a tradition, unfortunately.
anyway. That's PlayStation covered. We will go on to our first topic of this week, which is probably the one with the most coverage. Voice actors, now for video games, have now got the right to strike whenever they like. So it's a lot of the headlines have put voice actors strike, but they've not gone on strike, and it is only in the US from what I've read. But they have the right to strike whenever they like now, and that is because they don't get as many royalties from things like when games do really well. They don't get paid anything extra for them. They don't get They don't get paid any extra if they do their own stunts, like if they do mocap things,
Yeah.
things like Lara Croft. Voice actors, the actress has left my head now, but she did all the stunts. The same with The Last of Us. Did she do? Again, I'm rubbish with names today. I can't think of anyone.
I'm not sure, but I mean...
But it is coming common now in AAA companies that they get actors to do the stunts and the voices. So, discuss, guys, what we're thinking about this.
Well, I think this hasn't happened... Well, I know this kind of personally because Splinter Cell-wise, they got rid of Michael Ironside for... Well, Michael Ironside, they've had different person obviously do all the motions and the animations for it. But they've already had Michael Ironside do the voice for it. It's iconic. And then with the new one, Blacklist, when it's a Blacklist that came out, they got rid of Ironside so they can kind of get rid of the cost so they have the same person to mocap and to voice.
Right.
And it was really bad. Not a lot of people liked it. So I mean, but obviously in general...
stick to your guns.
Yeah, it's like in general, like, I love Ironside and he's amazing, and Splinter Cell's my personal path into the industry, if you will. Like
that's what's got you, yeah.
But it's just I like it. The simple fact that because voice actors do need like some major recognition.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one actually.
They do. So I think we're all in agreement that this is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're right, they don't get as much recognition as maybe they should.
Why just now though?
It's a bit of a weird one. Well, I think they've been looking at... There was a policy that was written up, I think, in the 90s or something. It's been around for a while, so I think it was overdue a change, which is why they did it. And I've put it down as the abbreviation of it, the SAG-AFTRA, which is something like the Guild for American Film, TV and Radio Actors, Guild, that sort of... they put it to a vote and it won by 96.52%. So it was just an overwhelming... That one guy, like one or two guys that went, nah. Everyone else was like, yeah. But they've put down here that they want bonuses for every 2 million copies sold. So that's 2, 4, 5... Sorry, no, I can't count in twos. 2, 4, 6 and 8. But they've capped it at 8. So they're reasonable. They were like... We'll stop at 8. If it sells more than 8 million, we're fine without the royalties. We'll take it from there. Then also for vocal stress and time it takes to do, because some of them are in the booth for hours and doing some really like emotional scenes or very like just strenuous scenes on the voice. Because don't think people appreciate voice acting or audio in general in video games enough. Yeah, and how difficult it is.
The voice actor who did the Joker in the first 3 Batman games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins. I'm not too sure about Origins, but definitely the first 2. He actually has to stop for a while, if I remember right, because the Joker voice just strained his voice so much.
It's not something that comes... Some people find it comes naturally depending on what kind of voice they have. But if you've got a certain voice, like the Joker, or I'm trying to think of crazy voices that... the guy who voices Marcus Phoenix, who also voices...
Bender, isn't it? He also
Bender and Jake from Adventure Time. I can imagine the Marcus Phoenix voice being...
That's very like...
it's gravelly.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that being a bit more...
It's just strain your voice.
It's an instrument and it doesn't come naturally, and you do have to train for it, and you can't just on a whim be like, yeah, I'll do this every day for the past 5 years, that's fine. It's like, no, that doesn't work like that. So it's a good thing, overwhelmingly good thing that they can do it, but hopefully they'll never have to. Hopefully everyone will turn around and be like, oh, it's reasonable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just remembering Bioshock Infinite, Elizabeth. There were several different actresses involved in the creation of that character. One for vocals, one for mocap, and one for the face. Because there was, I think, quite famous incident, the cosplayer, when they released the initial footage, who then dressed as Elizabeth, and then they used her, because she created this iconic look. They used her face as the face of the character, so it changed. But I hope that this new establishment or this new rule or whatever doesn't destroy any more collaborations like that. Because I quite enjoy seeing all those different people coming together to create one character. And like Mike was saying, obviously the replacement of certain actors and actresses in established franchises is a little bit ruining. But I mean, and also in cases like Lara Croft, the changing of the actress isn't necessarily always a bad thing.
No.
So it's interesting to see the way it's developing, and I'm glad that it has happened. But as mentioned earlier, is it a little bit late? Well, not like isn't it? It's too late, but it should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah, it's hopefully it's not going to put off people investing time and money into audio, because a lot of studios don't have in-house audio.
Yeah.
They will freelance it, or they'll get another company to sort it out. So it's something that I think the games industry should really start to pride themselves on a little bit more, the voice acting, the Foley, the music.
Yeah,
but you know that from me, because I've just gone for ages about it.
Because voice actors, in my opinion, just do not get enough credit. Like, obviously you have the big ones, like Nolan North is a good one, he's everywhere.
Tara Strong.
Yeah. There's tons of voice actors that are just everywhere, and they still, in my opinion, don't get enough credit. For what
Yeah,
they do.
they should have their own awards. Do they have their own awards? Do voice actors have their own awards?
I don't think so.
Voice actors get awards, but
but think how many there are that go through everything from like Disney and DreamWorks films to video games, and even flipping David Attenborough. You know what I mean? Like, his voice is iconic, and he narrates all of his documentaries. But that would be good. That'd be interesting. We'll look at that for next week. We'll move on now, because or else I'll go on like a massive tangent with audio. Next news article is actually something really exciting, and if you're listening to this, hopefully it's up on the Wednesday. If not, it'll be the Thursday, in which case it'll be today. You will want to look out for that today. On the 15th of October, which is the Thursday of this week, BBC Three are doing a live coverage of the League of Legends tournament in Wembley this year. So it's the main tournament of the year, I'm guessing. I don't do League very often. Me and Mike are massive Smite buddies.
Yep.
But we love our esports. So,
absolutely.
like, this is a massive step, and we're really excited for this.
I mean, if this kicks off, it's going to be pretty.
It's going to be huge. I mean, it's huge in Korea.
Oh,
They have it on live TV in Korea, so this is the next step for it. And I mean, there are a lot of matches. I wouldn't expect it to go on for every match. They have said they're going to do some other matches online to view instead of on TV. But what about this for like other games? Is there a future for this? What's next?
I think it's nice to incorporate TV in like some aspects, because we've probably discussed it previously before. Like, with the whole YouTube is going to take over now, and everything like that. Like, just internet is going to be Netflix, and where you're going to find all your shows. It's just going to be all online based. But it's nice to have this kind of come back to TV, and it's nice that TV programs are also picking this up. So I mean, it's great in my opinion, just because it's esports and I love it, and I can watch it all the time.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good step in the right direction.
Nice.
But we'll see how this goes, because if there's a game to start it, it's going to be League.
Yeah, it's the biggest out there. It's bigger than World of Warcraft, I think, because World of Warcraft actually is dropping in numbers and subscription rates.
Yes.
But League is by far the biggest online game available at the moment. I mean, you don't do a lot of online stuff, so what is it to you? Like, what?
To me, I see this as not necessarily a good thing, but not necessarily a bad thing. It's neither or. As an actual player of games, I don't really like massively multiplayer games. I prefer to play with local or just very select group of people. I don't like playing with strangers, and I'm just pretty antisocial in that sense. But I have nothing against esports. I enjoy seeing everybody else enjoy it. Like, I know you guys get so worked up about things.
Yeah,
it's
we
quite
do.
amusing. But I don't know. I can see this being the point of a bit of ridicule from people that aren't with the gamers, from the quote-unquote normal people in the world. I can see this as a bad thing, because it never comes up well in the press.
There's absolutely going to be some sort of negative reaction to this. Because
to result to internet terms, the haters.
Yes, the haters. But there's going to be something bad that comes from it, because there always will. Nothing happens as solely 100% good. Yes. Or everything, every single little bit has a negative effect.
Yeah, but if we think about it in a positive sense, it's going to be fantastic for the people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
In the same sense that obviously people that like to watch football or rugby is all on. It's absolutely fantastic to see the BBC, especially, finally picking up on this.
It's
Even
going to
if
be
it is only
huge.
BBC Three.
Yeah. BBC Three is just as good. You know, Russell Howard was originally on BBC Three. That's one of the best comedy shows every week.
I can't really see this blowing up too big. Though,
No,
but
it
I
won't
think
be. It
it'll
won't be.
fantastic.
No, it's not like
But definitely 1 or 2 games. It'd be great. I wouldn't see it going off and saying what game can we do next and having a whole channel to it because it would lose its magic a little bit. I
Well,
think.
we already have Jinx TV.
Yeah, but nobody watches Jinx TV.
No, people do.
Do
I'm sure
they?
people will tell you. I think I saw Vicky was watching actually.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vicky if she's there.
Vicky.
But you know, Jinx is quite a relevant TV show. I think me and my dad watched it a couple of times,
Yeah.
and
It's just something
that's
I've
when he
never.
found out about The Last of Us.
Did he? Bless.
But yeah, no. I think it'll be good, but I don't think it's going to be very good.
Like, it's only going to be to games that are 100% using, and they've got like regular tournaments. So like Smite might be another one that picks
Smite
it
would
up.
be great, but we'd love to see Smite live anyway.
Well,
as
I
in,
mean,
like, we'd love to go to
I'm
a
thinking
tournament.
It's only going to be for games that have this huge esport
This potential.
atmosphere.
Things like Call of Duty and Battlefield, they have big esport.
Yeah.
Like people watch that. FIFA is another one, which always baffles me in a sense because it is more. I mean, to be fair, it is biased because we don't like FIFA in this household very much. So as for us watching FIFA, that's not really very tangible. It's very boring.
The thing is, if you then had FIFA tournaments on the TV, is a very fine line between having normal football and
Exactly.
it would have made a maybe more intelligent step up to them having the league or whatever as an esport. But I think esport football on TV is a little bit stupid.
Yeah, it's a bit of like a paradox. This is weird, sort of.
Yeah, I don't
Is it
think
real?
that's
Is it
gonna
not?
catch on.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
It may as well be just the real football on TV. There's no difference, no point.
Not really, no.
Okay, maybe we should make that like the interactable thing of the week. As in, like last week we asked the listeners about PlayStation memories. This week, why don't you get in touch with us about what you'd like to see on TV in terms of video games?
Yeah,
Do you think that's something we could ask?
Like, what games could esports and the BBC
Yeah.
join together to put up on TV? Like, what games would you like
Yeah,
to see
what would you
on the
like
TV
to see?
screen?
That's a good debating point, I guess.
And then we'll write a letter to the BBC.
And then we'll write a goddamn letter. Smite.
That's all me and you.
Yeah, we're just even at the end of it. If everyone comments saying, "Oh, well, I'd like to see this and that," and it'd be like, "P.S. from Michael and Rianne in Leicester. Could you please look at getting Smite on your television box sets? That would be grand, thank you."
But Smite in full capitals.
Yeah,
at least taking up
the-
half the page.
Would you please like Smite?
Oh my god.
That's why I turned away from the microphone.
Yeah, I'm just
It
looking
picked
at
up. It picked up real bad, but I
I'm
looked
just
away.
looking at the recording. And
It's fine. It's
a
fine.
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a wow. Next topic. Sorry, we're a bit slow today. It kind of feels like we're lagging.
It's because Jess isn't here. to
Jess
play
isn't
around.
here.
Moving on.
What you say? Star Wars Battlefront beta. We don't play it, but we've read up about it, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's so huge that EA is here. It is EA. It's alright, I just had a stroke, it's fine. And released it for an extra 24 hours on the beta. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, and the only online game I like is Smite. I tried my MMOs and League, and it just didn't tick any boxes for me, but this game does look very, very impressive. Everything from the textures, the models, the quality of the game, the sounds as well, very nostalgic.
The lighting's fantastic.
Lighting's great. Even things like, did you notice on the snow, like, I don't know if it's like a specular map or something where the snow actually glitter, almost like there's
it
glitter.
flashes back.
Yeah, which is really impressive for me. It looks really good. Even the HUD design is dead simple, not overcomplicated. It just gets you right focused into the gameplay by the looks of it. And this is only the beta. So, what did you guys think? I know I sent you the article. Did you?
I did my homework.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good. As like I grew up in a household quite liked Star Wars a fair bit. Yeah, I've had my fair share of Star Wars games. I used to play all the pod racing games. They were very good fun. This is something that I'd ask my brother about because I know he does enjoy these kind of games
Yes.
a lot. And he would probably have bought this, wages permitting. I know quite a few people that stayed up very late to play it as well. Many a Snapchat. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm very excited to see a Star Wars game going well again.
Yes, there's a massive void ever since, is it the old Knights of the Old Republic? And that went really well. Which one was it that went really well? The one where you were, it turns out that you were the, spoilers, that you were the baddie. Dun dun dun! It's been out for years. But that's the last time we had a Star Wars game debate, everyone was in agreement that was the last good Star Wars game, and everything that came out after that.
Unleashed or something?
Well, no, that wasn't very good.
I can't remember which one it was. But
I'm sure it was Knights of the Old Republic or one of those. Oh, God, I
Is
can't.
Knights of the Old Republic like the big online game? Could have sworn it was. I can't remember. The last Star Wars game I played was the old Battlefront games.
Might have been.
That's the old one I played. Because that's essentially what it's not. Oh, yeah, it is Star Wars Battlefront, 1 and 2. It's kind of like, obviously, the one here, but obviously it was PlayStation 2.
Yeah. Well, no, that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
That was before
That was
the online one. Yeah. Yeah, it looks really nice. The one thing that I wanted to point out, which made me laugh a little bit, was I was watching, it's like one of the drones fly around and try to, shoot the other drone. But the controls looked so dizzy. He just kept going around, and it took him ages to just turn around in this circle. And then he turned around too early, and he missed the target on the floor. And then he had to keep going around. And I'm watching this gameplay with my head tilted, oh dear, this is a bit, And the other thing I noticed was when you got into, a major battle sequence, the main theme would start off, so it'd be da da, and then if it didn't go off onto one, it just sort of faded out, and then you go back into it, it'd be da da. This is getting really repetitive really quickly. That kind of humoured me a little bit. Just every time you go in, I'd imagine that would get a little bit irritating. I don't know.
Possibly, but
da 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 da.
That's all she knows of that.
That's it.
Yeah, nailed Star Wars in that short soundbite.
Yes!
Star Wars in 5 seconds.
Star Wars in 5 seconds.
Luke, I am your father.
Knew it. I knew it.
Alright, Grumps.
Okay, moving on. This is quite a big one. The UK government has set aside £4 million for game development prototypes and companies. As students wanting to go into game dev, this is really, really panty-dropping stuff.
Oh, yes.
Because they're
Yes.
giving small businesses with this idea and stuff.
Sorry, I
just got that picked up.
Well, I'm going to listen back and I'm going to hear what you said. I hope it's worth it. I hope it picked up. Wow, I can speak today. Doing a podcast was a great idea when I can't speak. They're giving grants of up to £25,000 to small companies, making sure that the UK keep this major influence on the games radar, because it's the US, Japan, and I think the UK are sort of the big three when it comes to producing video games at the moment.
Well, I mean, especially England for the independent market as well.
Yeah,
which is exactly
huge.
why the funding's a good idea, because then
Yes.
that funding goes to the companies that need it instead of to AAA companies. The indie market needs this kind of support.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at it. It's like you said, it's 25,000 to help new game businesses build up the prototypes, and then they could secure an extra 50,000 to take it beyond that phase.
That's great. So anything sort of AAA worthy,
Oh yeah.
you're looking at
anything that's going to be that I obviously can see some sort of potential out of. It's just going to go crazy over it. I mean, from looking at this, the fund will run from 2015 to 2019. And that is from the previous scheme that happened from 2010 to 2014. So it's definitely a welcome gift, and it's definitely
really nice, isn't it?
It's definitely a gift that's
Yeah.
good. Like, it's probably more than good, actually.
It's
pretty amazing.
potentially life-changing and business-changing in the way that the UK also look at the game demographic.
Yeah.
I think more and more parents, especially parents that we've talked to, because where we work is a hub for kids to come and learn games and experience them, and the parents we get to talk to, sometimes it's eye-opening for them to see how much creativity and how much work goes into making games and how much of a career path it can be.
Absolutely.
Also, like, just thinking about the way that people actually market and create their games, it's going to be a step away from Kickstarter, which I think is a good thing, because Kickstarter has become a very relied upon thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not even just Kickstarter itself, but all those
The
different
crowdfunding.
There we go. That's what I mean. The actual the method of crowdfunding has become a bit of a crutch, and not one that I'm proud of in terms of the industry. And I think this is a nice step away. And I just hope that the money goes to people that will make good use of it.
I think you're right in that respect. I think crowdfunding is a great idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't. We had people in our. I think it wasn't last year. It was the year before, in the first year, when we were doing our assignment on. How would we create our own business company? And a lot of people were going, "Oh yeah, I just make a Kickstarter," as if that was going to like fund them instantly. And it's not.
At least 80% of the room just kind of scribble down where I'm making.
Kickstarter, Indiegogo,
like, rather than try and figure out ways of funding.
That's definitely not a thing for all you games developers, or if you're thinking of starting a business. I know we're probably not the best people to talk to, but we've done enough research to know that. Don't just depend on crowdfunding, please. Go out there, collaborate, look into things like loans, as scary as they are. Talk to a bank, because they're not as scary as you think they are, and it's completely doable, especially if you've got a team of people who are really creative and good at what they do.
Yeah. And especially with funds like this.
This is a good start. It's going to be such a good influence. We do have a few confetti students I know that started listening to this show, so if you're listening, definitely look into this, especially for future projects if you're looking at going into the first year of uni, which will be what you'll be given next year. Cough, cough, cough. And look into it. It's something really, really exciting for us.
The tutors are listening and they change
just
the
like,
course
Don't just avoid putting Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Avoid doing Kickstarter.
If you're struggling for answers, then maybe have them as your last two answers, but try to avoid them if you can. It's not like. You can do other stuff. Like, it's not something that you have to do now because everyone's obviously relying on it, and it's quite. As of recently, I think we did the first podcast we did. It was very unreliable.
Yes, they buggered off, didn't they?
Yeah.
That Kickstarter group buggered off with millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's happened way too many times because obviously they're just going to take your money.
As soon as they smell money, it's like, oh, what else can I do with this? Some people aren't, obviously, but you do get the rare exception. Just going back for a second, now we're talking about job opportunities. Going back to the BBC coverage, point that I just thought is how good then doing the TV stuff, that's going to open up a lot more job opportunities. You've got presenters like Julia Hardy, who's going to be doing this Thursdays, and we've met Julia. She came to our one of our uni lectures, and we spoke to her earlier this year in February. And she was brilliant. We loved her, didn't we?
Yeah, she was absolutely fantastic.
That's going to open up a lot of job opportunities as well. So you can be into nerd culture and gaming, but if you feel like you need to be, you can't create the games, but you like being around them.
You like talking about
that's
it.
the way.
Using your voice to kind of just get out there.
Yeah, exactly. Working with people and stuff. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I'd just throw that one in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Curveball it in.
Like creating more opportunities for the developers. It's also creating more journalistic opportunities, and essentially as well more creative opportunities in filming the actual events themselves.
It's good.
It's
good. We like jobs.
Jobs are nice.
Jobs are good. Okay, this has gone really, really quickly, guys. I do apologise. This might be a slightly shorter cast than planned. Yeah. But we've got one more piece of news, and we like to always end on a bit of a stupid note, and it is the Kanye West quote. If you've been listening to the news this week in gaming, you will have known. Kanye West tweeted earlier this week, I quote, "Fuck in-app purchases in kids' games." And that was hilarious because the initial response I got was, Kim Kardashian has her own app, like this fashion app, whatever, and it's worth a lot. A lot of people buy it, a lot of people do the microtransactions, and I just had in my head this image of their daughter playing with this Kim Kardashian game on the iPad and just buying a load of her mum's stuff and like using the mum's money to then spend to the mum's app game. And I just thought like a big circle. It was funny. But then the more you actually look at it, and he's right. Like you don't like to say it, but he's right.
But he's critical in some respects.
Yeah.
But the main point is that he is right.
Yeah,
it's not like there's a possibility of.
Well, he didn't need to say it for it to be the right thing. He's very slow to pick up on this shit, actually.
But it makes a good point, and the simple fact that
it was relevant before he said it, didn't it?
It was, but it has brought things to like it back up again into the light. It's good to talk about this thing because. Is it right? I know I said this is a light piece of news, but we're going to go into this because it can be an issue. Is it right for apps to be targeted to a very young audience and have in-app purchases in them?
No.
It's
wrong.
We're in agreement. We hate microtransactions anyway,
but all around agreements, and no, it's not right.
No. I mean, obviously, thinking about it in terms of being a game developer and wanting to make developers wanting to make more of that dough. You know, it's psychologically the correct way to go about it to get money from people.
But ethically,
it's wrong because typical 5-year-old hopefully doesn't own their own iPad or phone or something like that that they can then buy things on. And then obviously taking mummy or daddy's or big sister, big brother's phone and then playing these games and being able to buy things. It's bad because there are ways of setting a parental lock and things like that on the App Store so that you can't just click OK and buy it. But is it their fault for not doing this?
This is where the debate goes, because you could go one way and say, well, if the apps are targeted towards children, that app is obviously for a child.
Yeah,
why would you put
games?
I know, but I'm not talking about kids games. I'm talking my 4-year-old cousins have a tiny little tablet each, and they play this Justin's House thing. It's a CBeebies game, and it's a guy in a clown looking outfit. I don't know, and it's like a puzzle game. So you just put the puzzle pieces together, and then he sings a song at the end, and they love it. Right, and that has no in-app purchases, okay? Because that's aimed at 5 and under.
It's also from a free
It's also a free game, and I know there are paid games out there, which I don't mind paid apps. But why on earth would you put microtransactions in a game aimed 5 and below, or even 12 and below? But then you've got
pay to play is the wrong structural method.
It
for
is,
a game
and pay to win
kids.
is also a terrible thing.
Yeah.
It's destroying our family. The other argument as well is, should children have devices that are aimed for that? Because if you think, I've got my iPad here, that isn't aimed for a kid. All the apps already on there, and all the uses like mail and Facebook, they're not aimed for kids.
No, but obviously, going back in time, there have always been kids' versions of things, like you mentioned already.
Yes.
Your cousins have got their own little tablets that they've got. I remember I had a VTech laptop when I was about 7 or
do you remember all those? And
crap.
phones as well. You used to get candy phones.
Oh yeah,
the
things like that. Toys
they just light up and stuff, and that's all that would
I mean, obviously, I think it's weird. It's okay, and it's a good idea to get kids
into technology,
into it, and make it an acceptable thing, so that when they reach 14 and they just become aware of everything around them, they're doing oh, what's this?
Yeah.
So it is a good way for it to happen. And okay, that's an exaggeration on the age there. I don't actually mean you become aware of society when you're 14.
What is this world we live in? Just become some
suddenly
sort of...
I have eyes. I've become self-aware. I'm a teenager. But just things like that. It's a good idea to have these things and have kids' versions of things. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I think they should develop kids' phones, as in first phones, because having apps and everything is good.
I think that's definitely down to the parents' discretion.
Yes, that's definitely a debatable thing. But having sort of starter phones and starter tablets, I think, is a really good idea, which limits things. So you can have your apps like Facebook. Let's say if it's at teenagers, because all teenagers want things like social apps, so Facebook, Kik, WhatsApp, whatever. But it's very limited, so it mainly focuses on text and phone calls. But you don't have a browser. It just gives you limited access to maybe a few apps that you're meant to use, but it's a starter to get you used to actually using a phone. Because it's a big flipping deal to just say, here's all the internet.
Oh yeah.
Because you could say we never got given that, but we were living in a different age. But the internet and in all of its glory is
too much.
It's too much for anyone. For anyone,
exactly. It's kind of twisted and ruined. And when I look at teenagers nowadays trying to have a conversation with a teenager, they're totally different to how we were when we were that age. And that's not just like an old fogey kind of thing. It's like it wasn't that.
I mean, like
long
young
ago.
teenagers, not like
I remember being that young, and I remember it being very different to how it is now. And I think in part that is the internet's fault.
Well, it's you can visibly see it, the difference. Like obviously, a conversation that we can have, and we're like, obviously we look each other in the eye, or there's just basic social stuff. But then you have a conversation with like a teenager now. It's just they're like on their phone the entire time while chatting to the same person. So
it's a bit journalistic, but I do see your point. It is very much a problem.
It is. It's just like you just said. It's very different to how we do it, and now what's happening over there. Because it's very hard to keep a conversation with them when they're always playing on.
But this is another thing. I didn't put it in here because we just rant about it for ages. But just connecting it to this week. There was a BBC News article posted yesterday that I came across, something to do with the amount of, and it made me laugh because when I read through it I was like, you idiots. It was a study saying that school children aged between like 14 and 16, like GCSE level students, playing or using apps or video games twice a day are less likely to gain 5 GCSEs. And in this like report, it was like children are less. First of all, I was like, well, what do you mean twice a day? And what do you mean all devices? Does that mean looking at your Facebook like on your phone twice a day? That's what.
As well,
They were on about the bloody time periods, as in like a child on average is playing 4 hours, and I'm like, well, if anybody doesn't do their work twice a day for 4 hours, like say 8 hours, then they're not gonna get their bloody GCSEs. Doesn't matter what they do. If they're sat reading a book, it doesn't matter what you want about. Video games do not do that. It just made me laugh. I was like, what are you on about? If they're playing outside for 8 hours, they're not going to do as well.
We can do an entire rant cast.
We could, exactly. That's why I didn't put it in.
About how video games affect the youth, and it's no matter what we say, it's always going to get.
They're all going to try and prove it. I mean, I think they've given up with TV because the people that now have. The generation that have grown up with TV from like our age when we started with video games have now grown up into fully functional adults and have children and maybe children of that child, like they have grandchildren. And they've stopped sort of criticising TV because they all know it and they all love it, since video games aren't. Because even though they've been around a while, people still have this stigma about them. So they've tried to bring out these reports. But anyway, without going into that genre,
at some point we're just going to have to do a random
kids and in-app purchases do not mix. And you should, if you're a parent, I don't know if we have any parents listening, but if you're ever watching or listening to this cast and you're a parent, just keep an eye out for what your kids are doing. You don't have to be strict with them. You just have to make sure they have the common sense not to do it, and make sure that you're looking at what they're doing as well. You don't have to do it all the time. Kids are really smart, like insanely smart for what you give them. We work with a lot of them, and they just like, you come in and we do our Minecraft sessions, and it's like bam, they've already changed a load of settings, they're in a different language. Within 5 minutes of them sitting down, they've got mods on, they've got everything. Okay, they know what they're doing. They're not stupid, but you got to give them you got to just let them do what they do and punish them if they don't follow your instructions, I guess. That came out really, really wrong. What I mean is set boundaries and make sure there are consequences for not doing that. Less pocket money, whatever.
Auntie Ruby's going to give you a punishment.
God, no! I made it sound worse!
It's just a simple fact of common sense. That's all people need, and people don't have that now for a lot of reasons. It's like people just don't think straight. For some people, you can give a child everything, and he knows exactly what to do, when to do it, how
where
to
look it up.
And he or she is not going to do that because he's a child and they need to learn. So
they're just inquisitive.
It is just common sense, and people are not making sense, and that's what this frustrating thing is about. At least with this topic in particular, it's just parents are going to think that everything's going to happen 100% all the time the way that they want it, and it's not. And then they're going to blame video games for it. It's just a simple case of, also another example, it's 18 rated games with kids now. Obviously, parents are going to go out, buy 18 rated games, Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever.
Grand Theft Auto,
Grand Theft Auto is obviously probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, my kid is violent, he's antisocial, like whatever. It's
Why
like,
have you bought him an 18?
Yeah, it's like, why did you buy it? It's like, I shouldn't be on the shelves.
It's rated for a reason.
It's rated for adults because of the adult content.
Adults are expected that the kids are going to know everything that they need to know straight away from as soon as they get their first intake of oxygen. They're not. And it's frustrating because obviously they're just going to go back and blame games for how their child is. And if your child's antisocial, he's not behaving right, he's quote-unquote violent, then that's your fault and you need to sort it and not buy 18-rated games. Common sense, that's all that's needed.
I mean, let's not go too far into it and start like giving
Mike's
major.
Rat
Yeah.
No, it is.
I don't want to. What I don't want to happen is us give like this stuff to parents and be like, well, to be honest, we're not parents. We don't know. We don't have any right to tell you what to do, which we don't. No, but this is just our viewpoint. I guess you could also like look at it from our frustrating.
But it's funny because the article that you sent me with the Kanye West one is like it did actually pinpoint like Kim's actual game, and obviously it highlights saying that this microtransactions.
Yeah.
And yet now Kanye is coming out of nowhere saying, yeah, well, fuck all the games that have them. It's like, but
it's all the kids' games. To be fair, it's a point. We're going to end the news with the Kanye West quote, which I think we're all in agreement for, which is fuck in-app purchases for kids' games.
Yeah, I agree.
Kids' games should not have in-app purchases.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to finish it before we end up getting really angry and Mike throws his Lucasade out the window with our favourite games of the week. Who wants to go first?
You want to go first?
Oh yeah, I'll
Boom,
go first.
go.
Okay, so keep talking.
What?
Keep talking.
What?
Keep talking or everybody explodes. It's a really, really good game. Obviously, it's a game that's been created for VR. Those of you that don't know about it, go search for it. It's currently just under a tenner on Steam, and I know because I just bought it. Oh my god.
We're going to play it tonight. We've got a slumber party. We're going to do our hair, and then we're going to defuse bombs. It's going to be great.
Hair?
Yes.
In that order at the same time?
I don't know. What are you feeling, Mike? Would you like...
How dangerous are
We're going to paint your toenails while you defuse a bomb.
Yes.
That's not distracting.
We're going to give you a perm.
We're going to order a bunch of pizzas. We're going to set the room
I thought you were going to
up.
say people then.
We're going to order them.
We're
To be fair, a lot of people are coming, but we're not going to order a bunch of people.
No. We're going to order a...
Hello, I'd like to order cinnamon, vanilla, Ferrero Rocher.
Guys, get your shit together. What is this? We're going to have a face pizza party. And...
Tales from the Borderlands reference, I'm sorry.
Every time I just make the throwing up noise. You just die of laughter. What is it?
Okay, so Keep Talking or Everybody Explodes is a really good game where you have to defuse a bomb. One person alone will have to look at the screen and navigate around the bomb to find different sections, whilst everybody else holds the manuals and then has to communicate with that player and tell them what to do about what they can see. Obviously, the communication has to work both ways. You have a set amount of time to defuse the bomb, or else it explodes and the person playing dies.
See you later.
If you guys make me die, I will hate you forever.
It's okay, you won't die.
You have to be a really good team.
You have to nominate who's the bombs.
Yeah, exactly. It will rotate.
Yeah, it will
and
rotate.
It will get a great. Like, it would be like
It's
increasingly fantastic. The more alcohol gets consumed.
It's gonna get extremely loud, extremely.
It's going to be a good party game.
It's going to be
We'll have
fantastic.
to film a bit and put it on the Toolbox pages, the Twitter and
definitely.
Facebook, so you guys can see how chaotic it can be.
Absolutely.
One thing about the game is obviously it's intended for VR. We do not have a VR kit. So we...
Because we're poor students!
I did Google to make sure that the game is suitable for play without. Obviously, I'll just have to have a screen that's facing me and everyone else on the other side of the room, sort of thing. So I'm going to be sitting in the corner, or whoever's defusing the bomb will be. So that will be good fun. And obviously, it's not just a VR, although it would be like a different level of immersion.
Yeah.
And it would make it very, very good fun. But I'm quite happy to play it just with my display. I can't wait. There are going to be many good hours from this, I hope.
Yep.
And that is my game of the week. Michael.
Miguel?
I'm going to go back to right at the beginning of the podcast. The whole PlayStation theme. I'm going to go with Crash Team Racing.
Oh, what a pick.
Who
Who did you used to go as?
Hmm?
Who did you used to go as?
Dingo Dial.
Dingo Dial.
Mate.
Jesus, this is bringing it back.
It's like the reptile lizardy thing. I don't really know how to describe it. You have to probably wiki it actually. But
I got it up.
got Tiny the Tiger.
I remember Tiny.
Then you have who else was there? There was Cortex. Obviously,
Yeah,
you got
Crash.
Crash. And then who else? There was Engine, the guy who had the rocket coming out of his
It's
head.
like the female version.
There you go.
of Crash there.
Is that Coco? Is it Coco?
Yeah. Coco is like the female Crash, I
Coco.
guess.
For some reason, she has blonde hair.
But yeah, you've got Engine, which was the guy who was a mad scientist who had his rocket.
No, I remember that guy. Yeah.
He used to have like a very auto-tuned voice, if I remember right.
Yeah, he did.
You had the polar bear, if I remember right, and you had a panda. I'm pretty sure as well.
Here you go. I've got the lineup for it. Spyro.
Yeah. You've got.
Sorry, babe. I'm not really.
The Engine. You've also got Entropy there as well.
Looks like Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Actually, I can't remember what his name was. But yeah, anyway, mine was. Where is he? There he is, Dingo Dow. It's like a croc.
Weird cousin.
Yeah, it's like Dingo Dow.
That weird cousin we all have.
But yeah,
Crazy uncle.
that's who I used to go as. And I can't remember what my favourite. I think it was the Aztec race track was my favourite
Yeah.
race track, if I remember right. Because right at the beginning, you had that little spiral circus that you could just drift all the way around. And I used to just beast it. And then obviously you can hop onto a certain side on the right hand side. You get able to just traverse like the balcony, the wall.
Oh man, guys, you can't even see his eyes. He's got this crazy look in his eyes right now. This is
It's like
his
Christmas.
favourite game.
It was amazing. That's probably
Christmas
why
or a psycho killer, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
no.
Same
I
thing,
remember-
right?
Everything about this game.
Absolutely. I remember all the tracks right. I'm remembering all of them off by heart.
It's amazing.
I remember them
That
all.
feeling.
That was...
We're gonna have to get an emulator for you.
Oh, please do.
We'll do it.
Because that was childhood.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's my game.
Okay.
There's no story about it. It's just.
It's just a good game. You don't
It's
have to
just a
say
racing
anything
game.
else about it, though. That's the thing. My game of the week. I started yawning. My game of the week is not out. It is still in development, but you can see a 13-minute sort of trailer walkthrough of this game. It's called
so spooky.
Alison Road.
Too spooky for me.
It's really cool. You know, without having the PT voice, I really did make a weird noise with my mouth.
I wonder what it was.
It was like
thought
it's
she farted.
it's the gap in my
You were making
tooth.
like fart noise like your laugh or something.
No, it's the gap in my tooth. I kind of went,
Oh.
and it goes through. I'm
It
sorry.
whistled.
It whistles. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth.
Wow, okay.
Alison Road is filling the void currently for the PT that we will never have. Cry every time. It is a horror-based game set in a little house where you play as this American guy. And what made me laugh is you woke up and this guy's like walking around and he's obviously American, or his accent is American, and he's picking up all these Tesco brand tablets.
Yes.
I started laughing. Picks up a Lemsip, picks up a Tesco brand cough tablet, and they're like, what's cracking off? Like, has he come to England, or have they just like got some random textures from around the way?
I don't know. I didn't pick up on him being very American.
He sounded American from what?
I don't know. It was alright, and I liked the way that he comments
Yeah,
on things as you
yeah,
pick
it was
them
good.
up.
It was good.
But
Yes, I'm really excited for it. It was originally on Kickstarter, but it's been taken down because they weren't going to reach the target by the 21st of October. But it's been taken over by Team 17, obviously known most for Worms. So that's going to be interesting. They wanted to release it before the end of 2016. Don't know. If you guys, obviously we post all the links below the YouTube video at the end. I will post the link to that as well so you guys can have a look. The trailer is really, really nice. Like, the textures look great.
yeah, it's
Like, really high res.
beautiful assets.
Real nice.
It's on a similar level to PT. I wouldn't say
Yes,
the
that's
same.
why everyone's saying it's
Yeah.
like the corresponding.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's
the
like
correlation between.
Yeah, they're saying that it's the Sun Hills or the PT that we never
Yes,
had, really.
yes. So hopefully the gameplay sticks out and we'll be able to play it when it comes out and see what it's like. But it's
I hope
really
this is
exciting.
smart.
I hope
this
it's
is
smart.
clever.
Yeah, it's
Obviously,
not-
this is the pre-alpha footage that's been released.
it still looks
thing that we watched.
good.
It
Yeah.
looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
But the thing is that it doesn't look perfect. The animations are a little bit.
It looks good for what it is so
Mechanics wise,
far.
it needs more. But
Yeah, there's nothing to
I
it.
think it's going to be great. It had me hooked in like the atmosphere. It was fantastic,
yeah, nice
just
atmosphere
watching
around
it.
the house.
And it was very spooky. And
spooky.
Almost too spooky.
Yeah, the timing wasn't quite right, and the person that was playing it obviously knew exactly what to do. They picked up the torch before they actually went in the other room and the lights went off. and then obviously it's expecting you to walk back down the corridor, and he didn't quite do it in the right order, sort of thing.
Yeah,
just
a lot of
doing it as
signposting, a little bit off maybe in the level, but it's good. I'm really excited for it.
It'd be nice if they actually did another demo later on.
They probably
They will do.
They will, but this is definitely a good way to catch people's interest.
Oh.
Yes, definitely jump aboard the hype train. Keep in touch with them and Team 17.
I was waiting for a mod that just replaces if there's some sort of main ghost enemy or whatever, just a massive worm. From Worms or something.
Have a banana!
Or no,
Yes!
it's just the old granny, or just the sound of the hallelujah from the
Holy grenades!
That would be amazing.
Excellent.
I'll be waiting for a massive worm mod. It's just the worms
Sayonara! Really want to play Worms now. Really want to play Worms.
About Worms.
I used to play Worms Armageddon. I used to.
Worms or Pie, come on.
Worms
I know.
3D. I think they got renamed, but I remember it was Worms 3D.
What, with the golf?
Yeah, I remember the first level was the D-Day landings remake. They did a redo of the D-Day.
I used to name all of my teams after my school friends, and my dad did the same sort of stuff. So I'd have different, because I had different groups of people that I knew, so it would just be the groups of people, back in the day we used to have our Winx Club group, so I'd make a Winx Club group and they're doing all the voices and trying to make them sound different because I get confused which team I was playing, because I used to play against myself because single child problems.
So I used to play with my brother.
Rub it in!
Sibling problems.
Rub it in, why don't you?
I didn't used to play, I used to compete with my own.
Blood, sweat and tears.
That's why, that explains a lot, actually.
We're gonna end
it. Today.
We're gonna end it here. It wasn't I know it's actually gone on further than we thought.
I'm really sorry, everybody.
That whole rant about Kanye West really got us heated, I'm afraid. But thank you very much for listening to this week's podcast. If you have any questions, queries, or the answer for not the answer, but
So what was the question?
42.
What?
Wait.
Oh, for God's sake!
What was
The discussion topic this week was about what would you like to see on TV. You know how BBC's broadcast. Yeah, what esports. It doesn't have to necessarily be esports.
What games?
What games would be great to watch?
What games through esports?
I mean, I'd imagine it has to be competitive.
Yeah, of course.
But could you imagine a Crash Team Racing competing? Because a lot of people I'd imagine like to watch Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Fighting games in general,
yeah,
Tekken, Street Fighter,
Tekken. That was one thing I had. My good friend Kieran wanted us to mention this week. If you were around Nottingham, I think it's Spanky Van Dyke's or the Hand in Horn. I can't remember which one.
You mean the Horn in Hand?
The Horn in Hand. I'm sorry, I call it the wrong thing every time. I'm having a Tekken 3 tournament this Saturday, so if you're out and about in Nottingham, go to that. It's very good. We've been to a couple of Iron Fist tournaments in our time, haven't we?
Yes.
King of Iron Fist tournaments are great fun.
Yeah,
we did once.
You beat
that one time.
You guys beat me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dragunov for the win, man. Dragunov for the win.
It's all about Alyssa. It's all about Alyssa for me.
Dragunov for the
Just spam those same kicks with Lily.
Anyway, we will leave it here.
Spam it.
We will leave it here before we go off on one again, for God's sake. All the links and articles to everything will be under the description. You can download our podcast on SoundCloud if you want, so you can take us with you.
Ew.
Take me with you! And we shall see you next week. Bye! Send help.
You're okay. You sound like you're struggling.
She's shitting out bloopers, look at her.